So Juneteenth being right around the corner, I have to make an announcement to my African American brothers and sisters. And it's something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. And it's that we have to stop using cookouts for every single occasion. Especially the occasions that are directly connected to us. So MLK Day, it's time to have a cookout. Obama just became president, time to have a cookout. But even on the mundane ones, like it's a 2 year old's birthday and it's a cookout for some reason. Because we're highly spiritual people, but we're spiritually lazy. And what happens when you have that combination is that someone else is going to use that spiritual energy to tear you down, or they're going to use it to propagate themselves. And a great way to look at this and parallel it is that we look at the state of hip hop today and how it's used to tear down our communities versus how it was originally created to uplift our communities. Or we could look at how none of our dollars stay in our communities, but it's going outwards to propagate others. So none of these things are really separate. They're all connected and tied together. And a great way to combat this is to create our own traditions or rituals. And all rituals are just spiritual push-ups. So every time that you do this ritual, you gain in spiritual power and energy. And you can use that power and energy to propagate and uplift and connect to each other and ourselves versus it going out and being used against us. So I would like to offer 3 traditions or rituals that we could celebrate Juneteenth with. And each tradition or ritual will come with the ancestral role. And this person will be in charge of conducting the ritual or tradition. And that role can be passed down generationally. So it can be continued, no matter what. So the first one that I would like to offer up, even though I just said that we have to stop using cookouts for everything that we do, we could still use food to connect us. And we could use the meals and foods that our enslaved ancestors ate, and we could eat those. And this will be conducted by the ancestral cook. And it ties us to our ancestors on a deeper level because it's using our senses. So we're smelling and tasting the foods that our ancestors used to eat. You can take it a step further and you can look at the methods in which they cooked them, and you can try to replicate those as well. So you're also feeling the ways that they used to cook them as well. And I would recommend looking up Michael W. Twitty's work because he's done a lot of research and has an extensive knowledge base on the foods that we ate and the ways that we cooked them. And you can also look up the ingredients that we use and why we use certain ingredients versus others, or how often these meals were cooked or eating, and why. And this connects us in a different way. And this, once again, will be conducted by the ancestral cook, and it can be passed down generationally. So, someone can do this, have that role for a while, and then someone else can come under the tutelage of that ancestral cook so they can learn and build upon their knowledge base as well. A second one is storytelling. We have an extensive amount of resources, whether it's recordings, direct recordings from our enslaved ancestors, or historical events, historical figures that we could look into to be able to tell stories about our history. And this role will be conducted by the ancestral storyteller. And they could really go into the smaller known historical events or ancestors. Of course, we have the big ones that we think about maybe, or the ones we can even go to like the construction era, like the Reconstruction era as well, to be able to tie these stories together, kind of knowing who we are. Because once I started doing my history on who we were, I'm amazed on the steps that they were able to do, especially with the conditions that they were able to. So, it could be very uplifting and inspiring to be able to, do more than what we think we're capable of. And A really creative way that you can do this, you can even get the children tied into it, is that maybe you can create like a small play where they can reenact an event, or certain folk tales or folklores with the children they can do, or they can dress up like historical figures and be able to like espouse facts and have speeches and stuff like that as well. And it can really tie us together on who we are, where we came from, and we can start controlling that narrative on who we are. Because once again, once you look into some of these people that you've never heard of and you hear their stories, you'll be amazed. And that, once again, to be done by the ancestral storyteller. And that role, once again, can be passed down generationally. So this person can do this role for X amount of time. Someone else will come under their tutelage and gain the stories and the ways that they do it, and also be able to build upon that knowledge as well. For the third ritual or tradition that I would like to offer up, it's very similar to the one that I just named, but it's more personal. So we could have the ancestral historian, which will look up the direct genealogy of your family, building out your family tree. And this can be very difficult as African Americans, just based off of the fact that our names were changed every time that they switched to oppressors, and not even looked at as like real human beings. But there are genealogists who specialize in this work, and you could contact and work with them. Or another way is that the person that wants to be the ancestral historian can look up those methods and become a genealogist themselves in a way. And you could start looking at where you come from in your family directly, and even working with your extended family to see how all that's connected. And then on a national level, we could see that we're all connected and coming from the same place, no matter, even though we branched out, we have our own cultures and subcultures. We could really look and see where we all come from and how we're all tied together. And the ancestral historian can look at certain stories from maybe your great-great-grandmother and understanding the life that she lived, or your great-great-grandfather and understanding the lives that they lived and what it took to get you here. And that would tie you together in a different way. So that's the three that I have. I mean, you could come up with your own rituals or traditions, your own roles that can be passed down generationally. And I would love to see those in the comments. It's just a way to really be able to take back what's ours and being able to tell our own stories. So with that, that's the video. Thanks for watching and looking forward to building with you.